Testing. Just give me a second, gotta make sure the audio levels is good. Just give me a second, gotta make sure the audio levels is good. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah. Okay. The audio level is fine. I just had to make sure. So I don't like Alyssa. More specifically, I don't like fighting Alyssa's because there's a bunch of things that she has that are very annoying to deal with. But they gave her the most cybernetic steampunk bullshit like fits in this game. Like, are you seeing the drip? Like, I had to pull out the golden Yoshi for this too. Look at this. Look at the outfit. Look at the outfit, bro. Look at this. And they also gave her jiggle physics for some fucking reason. Like that was so unnecessary. But like this is the custom fit that I made. It's just the Nike battle armor, with some wings, black and yellow, with some horns, her visor goggles, custom haircut, all right, and a mask. It's simple, and I'm giving you it because it took me a few seconds to do, but it looks nice. And the problem is, since I made a character skin that looks nice, now I gotta learn the character, and I mean it. Like, if I make a character outfit that I like, I start to learn the character, and there's not that many character outfits that I like. I was doing Leroy yesterday, but I'm not doing that shit no more. Well, at least not right now, cause I gotta get this out the way before I forget about it. Cause I like this fit way too much. I wish the jiggle physics wasn't a thing, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's a little OD. I'm not gonna lie. This was not needed. This was not needed at all. Whatever. Um, we got a bunch of heat engagers, but that's not what I want to see. I gotta. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, my controller's fully charged, but there's still that delay issue with PS5 controllers where they're not reading the inputs. There's still that delay issue. All right, we should be good. What I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. Here. So it says when you're in heat and you do your heat smash, it shifts to dual bot and partially uses remaining heat. Right? So what we need to do is all right. Yeah. Hold on. I need to figure this out. So this is during dual bot, during destructive form forward, during dual bot. How do I access dual bot? So I have to be in destructive form. How do I get to destructive form? Okay, it's down 1+2. Okay. So down 1+2, destructive form. This is dual bot. Alright, this here. So to be clear, what we're gonna be testing first, just with the Leroy stream, is I'm going to go over heat smashes first to see if there's a transition out of that because that's important, and then we're gonna go from like the regular moves until we hit a stance, and then we're gonna go through that stance using the transition so you get the picture of how to use it. So first off, down 1+2, destructive form, right? And then if you want to do dual bot, you do forward 3. And if you want to cancel the dual bot, you do. So it's forward 3, right? You can hold back to cancel it, to as in like make it stop short. You can hold up, which does a cool side step, or you can hold down, and you know. So like it is a very actually cool thing. And the thing is, you don't have to hold forward to access the evasion. You can just do side 1. Alright. So what we're gonna do is do a heat burst. I forgot to make him stop crouching. That is unfortunate. Let me turn the audio down, that's kinda loud. Alright. So it leaves you +8, meaning it's meant to be a stance position. +8. So it said it leaves you in dual bot, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's up with that. So I need to read the description again. Emergency dual bot during heat is forward 1+4. So I read the wrong thing. So this is just okay. So I was reading it wrong. This isn't the heat smash. What this is that when you're in heat, you do forward 1+4, and it immediately enters you into the dual bot stance, pulling out your weapons and everything. So you don't have to go into this stance, into this stance. It just does it all at once for you, which is big for saving time. What is the frame count on this? It doesn't actually give you a frame count. Alright. So we got during heat, down 1+2, which is an armored move, shifts to destructive form, partially using heat time. So you can armor activate this move, kind of like a Shiko way. But that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is it. Let's reset. It says destructive form. During heat, actually destructive form. Hit on throw. Oh, this is a lot, and it's moving. Let's just look at the move list. It says during heat or destructive form, you can press 2-3 heat smash on hit, shifts to throw, and then 2-1. 2-3. What heat smash 3 shifts to boot. Heat smash forward 3 or forward 4 shifts to dual bot. So you can shift. Huh. Hold on. Let's see. Destructive form. I gotta be in heat though. So yeah, you can do a heat smash when you're in destructive form, and then you can choose which one you go to. So if you want to do either boot, then uh you do 2-3, either 3 or 4, or you do 2-3 forward 3 or 4. So if you're in heat and you're in the robot stance or whatever, it will look like this, right? Obviously, there's a lot of buttons to press, but something tells me it'll get easier once you do it. Uh, I don't think Alyssa is like a stance-based character. Like, for example, Lydia is a stance character where her whole thing is entering a stance momentarily and then immediately pressing the buttons to execute to go into a different stance or something like that. But Lydia's a lot more like, I want to say fluid, but it's not, because she's very locked into that stance. Right? She can transition obviously, but it does feels like she's entering into a stance where you have to like know the data to counter that. Where Alyssa seems to be like much more like fluid. We're combating, blah blah blah. I do this move and then immediately enter a different stance, but I'm still just behaving normally. I don't know how to describe it, because technically they're all stance characters. Like everyone has a stance, but some people depend way more heavily on it than others. I don't know. So I wanted to do the heat smash coverage of these options, but this is gonna be kind of hard for me. We can do the boot one first, because that seems to be simple, right? It's simply, so I have to do the heat smash and then press it. Yeah, or maybe I don't know. Oh, I see. So in the end, it's a mix-up between a low or a mid. It's not actually entering you into a stance, or at least I don't think so. I don't know. I guess I'll just go over the moves one by one until we get a better grip on how to do this stuff. Because for everyone else, it'd be smarter just to like go through the stance directly. But for this, you might as well just do it normally. So we have 1-1. Obviously a 10-frame jab. Both high. Safe on block is normal. There's a transition into destructive form, which is this, right? So you can transfer into this easily by doing 1-1-1+2, which is still safe. So if I do, right, I can block before he can do anything. The problem is, the second you get hit on block or you're hit, right, on block or on hit, your chainsaws go away automatically. So if you're going into the chainsaw form, you have to do it on advantage. Otherwise, they're just gonna jab your block immediately. So it'll be much more of a situation like we use something like that, like maybe you go in raw while you like dodge it. You know what I mean? Because you have to. If they respond immediately, you're just not gonna be able to get your chainsaws out. It's going to be +8 on hits. It's actually +5. The first hit, the first jab is +8. Second one is +5. We have 2-1, two highs, still 10 frames, startup, safe. We have 1-2-2. So this is the extension of 1-2. Obviously it is, but the point is the follow-up itself is going to stop them from interrupting. So, right, it launches them. But the thing is, it launches them, but it doesn't automatically like tornado. So you can still get a combo afterwards. I'm not actually sure about how all this works, but alright, if we're at the wall, I'm trying to think of a combo from what the very limited knowledge I have. Alright. Alright. So you can use it to get a launch. He's pretty low to the ground, but something tells me there's going to be a move designed specifically to account for that. Maybe even like just heat in general. Let me reset. I don't know. You can do something with it. It's most likely going to be used as a combo tool. You know what I mean? Then you do heat, and then whatever stuff you gotta do. So it's gonna be most likely used for that. It is still good to just throw out there. Of like if you want to mess with someone, but if you throw it too often, what's going to happen is you're gonna get ducked and launched. Punish. No, punish isn't the right one to show this. So we do crouch block. So look, last one, duckable. And problem is with anyone who's decent enough at the game, who's ducking this because they know the third extension is that move, right? They're going to launch you. They're gonna duck, do whatever Raw Rising like launcher they have, and send you flying. And when that happens, you die, of course. It's then we have a different version of this, right? So before we had 1-2-2, which was three highs in a row, and I'm betting you this has a mid to counteract that. Actually, no, it's a low. So is there a third one? No, no. This is just terrible. Then what's the point? So what I'm talking about here, why I'm kind of annoyed, is that I was thinking that this should be a mid, right? This combo here, 2-1, 1-2, down 2, right? The third hit should be a mid. Because that means the answer to this, right? Because you're like, what's the ending gonna be? If there was a mid, you would have to guess between the high and the mid. And that way you're making a decision. This, it's not. Hold on. The easiest way is just to show you. Confirm. Where's ALISA?
Get ready for the next battle.
practice, defense. I just want to be able to show what I mean. So there's this one, and there's this one. So both of these moves can be dealt through the same way. See? So when you see like 1-2, just duck. There's no reason not to. And the only idea that I have of like why the only idea I have of like why it would even be quote unquote a choice of which one to use is if they try to like do an interruption, right? Then they might get hit with the low. Or since the low itself connects to the body, you're not ducking the attack, meaning the frame data is automatically set to -11, so you only get a rising forward. See? Instead of getting launched and killed. Know what I mean? You get the point. So it's not a mix-up because you deal with it doing the same things. You deal with both 1-2 down one and 1-2-2 just by ducking. And one of them, if the player is good enough, you die for it. Right? Now, if I have my settings correct, I'm gonna turn this off. Alright, standing block, key charge. 1-2 down 2 on counter hits is a knockdown. Not only is it a knockdown, I'm pretty sure you can rage art after that. Yeah. You can rage art because it's like plus 30, right? So you get a full combo. I'm not sure how you would do it, but this move is good because of its counter hit property. As in, if you counter hit, they, die because you get the combo. But I want to see something actually. It seems to have almost some evasion because you're ducking down. So if we do standing block, punish, we'll have her do her 10 frame jab. Alright, see, she jabs. So it has high crush, so you can beat other people's jabs and do this. So if you have a combo in mind, if I could find one. Maybe I have to wall crush. Right. I don't know. Maybe you just have to like use rage. It's still good on counter hit because they're knocked down. That means you get Oki. But the problem I'm having is I don't know the right moves to combo with if you can combo. So you would just have to like rage. Maybe if I have. No, that doesn't work. So rage might be the only answer here. So you have to settle for Okizeme when they get up. Or you have to do a rage art. It's still a good trap. Because let's see how much damage it does. Display. Player attack info display. Alright, there we go. 22 damage on a knockdown. That's not bad. Um, Punish. We're gonna turn it off. Normally, it just causes them to go low. Alright, and you're +2 off of it, then you can jab again. But it seems like the way it looks, it kind of causes like a heal, like she ducks down. So I'm wondering if it forces crouch. So we're gonna do punish while rising 4. Yeah. What? Okay, I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to set this up. Hmm. I guess the only way to see would be opponent frame, show details. So no, it doesn't force him into crouch. All it's doing is just causing like the oh I got hurt in my leg animation. That's it. It says you can hold the last step. What does that mean? Hold the last step? Oh, I see. So you can power it up, but it's slower, and it just does the knockdown naturally. So if I melee, no, not even there. But it's still good to be able to just force someone to the ground whenever you want, especially at the wall. So it makes them like actually focus on, oh, I have to duck this. And if they duck after the first 2 hits, of course you have like whatever launcher you want to use. So let me do practice. Punish. Nope, we're gonna do crouch. Crouch block after 2 hits. Alright, you can do that. That. About that. That. And my point being is it's still, in my opinion, not a mix-up. I mean, it's objectively not a mix-up because you deal with it by just ducking regardless. But it's still good to use because you can make them afraid enough that they feel like, oh, I have to duck this. And if they do duck it and they do punish it, you know what the response is going to be from now on because they have the confidence to do it and they have the ability to. So you know that, hey, they're going to duck. I can do whatever like launching move I have. All right. If I could, does she have a launcher? Like what's going on? We have troubleshooting, which is 2. And then on hit or on block, you can press 2 again. So what that looks like, make sure he's blocking. Oh. This is just safe. I doubt anyone can punish this. Question is, let's do crouching block. So it doesn't jail you. So First hit, right? Two is 12 frame jab. It's obviously high. It's safe on block, but it gives up your turn completely. So what that means is that if you stop here, it like you just give up your turn. Right? If you do this and they duck it, they can kill you for it. So let's do practice, defense. Right? Because normally when it connects, it just pushes, pushes back. If you get hit by it, you get launched all the way away. If the first hit connects, the second one becomes natural. So if you get hit by the first 12 frame move, you're getting sent back. And let's let her. It wall splats, right? So you can use this for combos, right? And it's normally safe because at negative 13 at this distance, nothing is going to reach you. But if I can time this correctly. How am I this bad? You can duck it. That's the point I was trying to make. If you visually recognize that this is coming out, you can duck it. And then you can launch. So the move itself is good. Don't get me wrong. It's just that the counterplay for it is very inherent. In fact, I wonder, since you can duck it, it doesn't jail you, right? You can duck and punish it. Does that mean? Right. I want to know if you can sidestep it. Obviously, I'm not good with side steps, and for some reason, I don't know. I'm not talented enough to do a side step immediately after during that window. I'm just not fast enough. I just end up getting ducks or jumps, right? So in situations where you're fighting someone, right? I have no clue I did that. Blah blah. You're at the wall. You can just throw this out there randomly. Do a bunch of stuff. Do a bunch of stuff. Do this again, right? And somebody could probably punish at this range. Someone maybe like Yoshi down forward 4 can reach for 12 frame punish from that range, right? Since you're at the wall. But normally, if you have literally anything that punishes with a crouch, you can frame trap them into this move wall splat, or you could, right? And then eventually, if they duck, you could launch them, whatever the launching move in this fucking character is. Right? The point is, just because this move has a very countable weakness that's very easy to see, doesn't mean that it's all over. Like, doesn't mean that this move is useless. It's not like this, like 1-2-2 or 1-2 down 2, where since you deal with them by doing the same thing, they're completely terrible. In fact, those moves aren't even terrible because even if they do block the low or duck the high, in all honesty, you only get like a little bit of damage taken for even that happening in the first place, right? And if they don't respect it, if they don't start ducking, you just get to do that to them. And it high crushes too, so they have to respect it. And let's say they do have a move that they're trying to like interrupt your low with, you'll just do a 1-2-2, which I'm pretty sure is fast enough to interrupt. So they have purposes, the combo tools, they're meant to like enforce a certain behavior, but they're not impenetrable. It's not like a mix-up where it's like if I'm guessing wrong, I die. This move is just another tool, most likely made to control space and set the expectation of I want you to duck. Because you gotta remember, those last two moves enforce the idea of ducking, and if you don't, then essentially like the person, because what 1-2-2 completely safe on block. It gives up the turn, but I technically can do this and not have to worry about anything. In fact, I could cancel it early. Like I don't have to do the full version. The low is what's meant to like be annoying, because I'm plus here. All right. We got downtime, which is 2-3-3, a high into 2 mids. Wall spots. So this move actually has quite a bit of distance. It basically goes across full screen. So you can start it from here and catch someone who like is slipping. Alright. And I'm guessing that since it's a 3-string, if you get the first hit as counter hit, the whole thing is guaranteed. So we'll do. Alright, see, it's not a true string. I get the first hit, but the second two don't count. Key charge. It's guaranteed when when the 2 is a counter hit, right? When the first hit counter hits, the rest of the string is guaranteed. And since the first hit is 2, which we both know is 12 frames, you can use this to frame trap. So let's say you have something that forces crouch, right, and gives you plus frames. You can just do 2-3-3 as like the tool that you want to use to succeed. How far does Ray Dart go? Pretty far, so it hits. So if it was at the wall, it would actually like work. So let me. Okay, put these away, and then key charge. All right. So if you're doing a combo, you can end it with this to get them to the wall, and then do Rage Art, Deep Smash, do whatever you want. Right? And let's see, two is a jab with decent range. So you can actually just dance around, right? Get a counter hit, run in, and do your thing. And since like all you have to do is counter hit the first one for the second to be guaranteed, that also means that if the second hit hits as a counter hit, or hell, probably not even as a counter hit. Let me see. Yeah, if the second hit hits, it guarantees the following hit, the third hit. But if you want the whole string to be natural, all in one go, you got to counter hit the first hit. We have an alternate version with downlink, which is 2-3-4, which looks like, which is a low. And most importantly, what I want to figure out is is downtime 233 safe. No. So this whole thing here is not safe. You can get jabbed for it. You're right in front of them. It's not your turn. Don't press. All right. And by turn, I mean you can't press immediately after, because you gotta remember 10 frames is 1/6 of a second. So after 1/6 of a second, their advantage is gone. So if they didn't immediately jab you, they didn't take their frames. They didn't take their advantage to hurt you. That doesn't mean you can immediately press, because the time it took you to realize they didn't press, they're probably gonna press and then you're gonna get hit. All right. So the two part is safe. Second hit is unsafe. It's 10 frames, right? And then the third hit is also unsafe. But I think moves that are like -10 and sometimes -11 are pseudo safe, where if the person isn't visually already confirming the move you're doing and mentally prepared to punish it, that they're going to miss their opportunity to punish it and they're just not going to be able to. Because you have to be on the dot to punish 10 frame, and you have to be on the dot to punish 11 frames. Sometimes it's the same for 12. Like hell, it's this often like that with 15s if you're not on the ball enough, right? So you have to keep in mind that even though this is quote unquote unsafe, anything that's like 10, unless you're at like the highest levels, it's basically safe. It's basically safe. And obviously there's a lot of people like let's say Yoshimitsu, Law, Lars, who get like very good use out of their 10 frame string when punishing. They can do like a 1-1-1 or a 1-1 in Yoshi's case, and like get like some good damage and good frames off of that. But for the most part, you're not really going to be taking that much damage, or you're not going to be losing out that much for being -10. And that was a mid. We have a high into a mid into a low. All right, and you're +13 when you hit it. Right, it's a knockdown. But what I'm wondering, so when they're crouched, right, and they duck the first hit, the mid that follow up leaves you +1, right? But it doesn't launch them. So they can actually just hold down crouch for this and block your low, which is very reactable at 42 frames. So they can just hold crouch and ignore what you're doing if they're completely sure that you're not going to do the other mid. And it's -13, meaning you can get a Raw Rising. So what that would look like is, yeah. We'll just have them block all. And then after the third hit. Alright. And then you get the point. In fact, what was that? A Raw Rising 1? How do I even punishment training? Do select from list. Yeah. And you get launched for it. With someone like Raven or someone like this character, they can actually do very nasty things to you. Raven has a 13 frame counter hit launcher and a 14 frame regular hit launcher. So if I do this again, right, hold back, the last hit doesn't launch you and it leaves -10, right? But if you try to press, right, I'm gonna try to attack out of this. Let me do it again because I wasn't coming back. I'm jabbing. Alright. Actually, even on counter hit, it doesn't seem to do anything because I was spamming the button. So I don't know. Let me. Is there another one I could try? No, it's fine. Anyway, you get the point. This is a low mix-up. And again, this is from basically full screen. You can be back here, and if they move forward slightly, you know, they get hit. So it's one of those situations where you can threaten them from over here. The problem... Hold on. Let me do... punishment. I'm gonna select from punishment recordings. You gotta be kidding me. Why is there not an armored move in the punishment recordings? Move list. I need to find an armored move real quick. Here we go. Back 1+2. So if we go to practice, I'm gonna record back +2. The low is 40 frames, right? So that means that it's very visible because unblockables are like what? I want to say 30 something. Hell, actually, that's Yoshi meant something about. Some unblockables are 30, some unblockable are like 60. So anything that long can be spotted and can be spotted. So if I, right, does the power. It stopped. But if you try to power crush 2-3-3-3, you just get launched. So it is a mix-up. It truly feels like a mix-up on paper where you can interrupt the low with a power crush, but you can't interrupt the mid because you get launched and die for it, right? If there is a wall spot anywhere near. But the question is, so if we do 2-3-3-3, the last hit is 20 frames. And it looks like that. The low, right? The low is 42. So there's a 20 frame difference and when they come out. I don't have to tell you that that's a big number difference. Like, for example, with Paul, I forget the input for it. I think it's like, honestly, it's like forward or like down 2 for one of his lows, and it comes out 10 frames slower than the mid option. So it's completely visible. It's not a mix up. You can always block it if you like are paying attention. Right? People with the fastest reactions aren't going to get hit by it. Right? See what I mean? Like, there's definitely a system to it. And there's the sound cue. So you can react to it. obviously, this is the first time I'm ever doing this training, right? I've never played this character before. I've never seen the move list. And I had a pretty decent success rate on just knowing that those two are an option and reacting to it, right? And knowing like, oh, he just did like 2-3. He just did this, which you can easily recognize in a match, right? So it's not hard to block it because all you have to do is just stand and go, oh, he's not doing the mid because it would have came out by now. Block low, right? And then question is, how delayable is it? Not very much. Actually, the mid seems to be delayable. Yeah. The mid is actually kind of delayable. So you could get caught by someone who's knows what they're doing. But at the same time, not gonna lie, it actually isn't really a mix up. So just remember, if they're doing 2-3, 2-3-3, just respect it, bruh. Because 2-3-3, you can just punish them afterwards. And if they're doing 2-3-4, you can always just block it. So one more quick demonstration. That's not what I meant to do. I accidentally sidestepped. You get the picture. Obviously, my punishment needs some fine tuning because I need to really get used to the timing exactly. Because there's a certain point, like a fuzzy is what happens when you're able to duck and block a low option and stand back up and block a high option, or block a high for a little bit and then duck to basically counter both options. And because these are so like different speeds, for example, with Yoshimitsu, he has his Dragonfly stance where there's a high grab and there's Dragonfly 4, which is a heat engager, right? You can fuzzy that. You can fuzzy the grab and the heat engager because the grab is slow enough, or the like. How can I put this? You can duck the grab before the heat engager would hit you, right? So that means you can duck, the grab's gonna miss because the active frame period's over, and then you can immediately stand back up and block if he's doing the heat engager. That's because there's a window of space between it, right? There's a 20 frame difference between the mid and the low. So it makes it a bit awkward almost to try to counter, because normally what you would do is you'll wait. If the mid was slower than the low, you would just block low and then just let go so that you're blocking high again. You know what I mean? But because it's the mid that's way faster than the low, you're essentially waiting through empty space for the mid to come, and then it's not, and then you just duck on reaction for the low. So it's completely doable. And if you realize, hey, the mid isn't coming, or hey, they're taking forever, you could power crush. Obviously, I'm not gonna do it again because I don't feel like spending more time on it. But this move is completely counterable. We have quick trim, which is 3-2. It pulls out your sword immediately. First hits is 3, which is 13 frames. So now that we're here, let's just review. All right, we have 1, 10 frame. We have 2, 12 frame, and we have 3 and 4 both being 13 frame buttons. This is important because whenever you have to decide how do I punish this move, and you're learning a character, and you're like, okay, this move is -13. You should know which your buttons are. For example, with Yoshimitsu, we have 1, which is 10 frames, 2, which is 11. We have 3, which is 15. We have 4, which is, I want to say 13 or 12. I think it's 12. All right. And the reason that matters is because all the buttons in the game are bounded to some sort of action. All right. If it's like a tree, right? The first button frame data is always the root button, and you're just going down a branch as you go. Meaning, if you press 111, the first button being 1 is always going to be 10 frames. Meaning, you can use that to punish a 10 frame action. So immediately in your brain, you should be able to go, oh, this is negative, like what, 13? I can use this button, let's say, for example, 2. I can use any 2 string to punish because the starting one is a 2, right? It also lets you know immediately whether or not you can use something to frame trap. If it's just from standing stance, if it's like in a stance, then it's something different because it's a different part of the tree, right? So this is 13 frames, right? Whenever you press 3. So 3 being 13 frames on block, it's -12 immediately, meaning you can instantly get punished. It has good kickback, but some characters like ALISA can still jab you here. I don't think Yoshimitsu can jab you from this distance. Because Yoshi has like short baby arms. His is gonna like whiff. Right? So ALISA can jab you from here. Other characters probably can too. But if you finish the string, it immediately pulls out the chainsaws. The chainsaws are notated as destruction form, right? And this is on block. But when you hit this move, because it's a heat engager, it doesn't enter destructive form. Actually, I just got lied to. Because it says, oh, it says it doesn't shift during heat dash. So if I were to, let me pull them out. Oh, I see. I might have been wrong about ALISA being a stance-based character before. So here's the deal with this move, at least from what I can see. 3-2 on block. Okay. Never mind. Let me shut up. All right. It's not on block. Whenever you do the move in general, you just shift to destructive form, which means different move set, a whole different list of moves. So if we go with the tree analogy before, we were at this tree, right, which is just the whole character, a big trunk. Then we were talking about the left section, and now we're on the right. Because this is a whole different set of moves, a whole different set of branches that we have to worry about, all new different frame data, everything. So when you're here, you can be taken out of it by getting hit on block or like just being actually hit, right? So you're gonna have to it's already hard enough to memorize a move set, right? You have to fluidly remember what you can and can't do in each in like destruction stance because you're locked into this unless you press down back. And it may seem like, oh, then you're not locked into it. But think about it this way. If I do 3-2, I'm in chainsaw stance. Sure, I still have this power crush that's accessible all the time. But what can and can't I do? You have to know that. You can't do 3-2 again to get a heat engager or like a heat dash. You can't. You can't heat dash using 3-2 as a notation. So let's say it's guess for game, and I do this, right? But I get my chainsaws out because it was on blocker hits. If I try to do it again, I'm just gonna rev my chainsaws. So I'm just gonna be standing there revving for no reason, right? And I'm gonna do whatever this is, which is like a 20 frame move, and it's a launcher. And of course, she's safe on blocking her chainsaw form on a bunch of her moves. Like, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't change the fact that, like, if someone is doing something and you have a counter for it specifically, and you do the wrong thing, you lose. Alright? So, 3, 2, let's turn that off. Enters you in the heat, so you get a mix up when you're in destruction form, or when you get hit and the chainsaw form is away, you can do it the heat dash, right? Has pretty good reach. The first kick being -12 with this reach is pretty nice. It doesn't reset your distance when you hit it. Actually, hold on. I wonder if it has a thing where, depending on your range, does it... No, you just -12 from there. Which some people can reach, some people can't. And also, 12 frame punishes are usually like very specific. Some people have it as their jab, like ALISA, but for Yoshimitsu, he would have to do down forward 4, which is his 12 frame. And he's most likely, if not prepared for you to do this move, I mean, not that. If he's not prepared for you just to do this kick over and over, right? If he's not mentally already like ready to identify this kick, then he's not gonna get the punish. It's just not gonna happen. Like they would, even at the highest level, they would have to like immediately see the kick coming out, and as it connects, go, oh, I know what to do to punish this, and then immediately be ready. They'd have to be in flow state, which someone can do. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely people who are able to do that, but it's so far advanced. This is hard to punish alone, right? What else is there to say about this move? Apparently, this is a homing move, so you can use this to catch side steps. Of course, you can't spam it because you're entered into destruction form, and you have to like be in that section of the tree. But with how far sweeping it is, that is pretty good. You can see someone who likes to sidestep, and then immediately you're in their face with a safe on block, and now you're in chainsaw stance, which just means chip damage. Alright. So we have quick access, which is 3-4-2. Another way to enter into chainsaw stance. access from, you know, 3. So we have 3-2, homing, safe on block, heat engager, enters you into destruction form. We have 3-4-2, which isn't a heat engager, enters you into chainsaw stance. And I'm trying to see the difference between these two. So we have 13 frame entry, right, on 3-2, and then 3-4-2. It leaves you minus. But it does do chip damage. You're minus 12, so you can be like, somebody can jab you. But I don't know. I guess just another way in. We got 4 accelerator. It's a homing move. 13 frames. But it's tied directly to 4, right? It's a high homing move. So you can use this as like a check to stop someone from moving, right? And there are situations where someone who you're forcing to crouch, if she has some moves like that, it can be used to stop them from doing that, per se. But at the same time, high homing moves are like, yeah, because like a sidestep duck and you're dead. And the thing is, at my level, I have never seen anyone go sidestep duck. And I mean that. Like, I've never seen anyone do that into like a whiff punish. It's just non-existent. We have uninstall 1+2. It's a heat engager. It's safe on block at 19 frames and it's a mid. Alright. It has okay range. Hits from here. So in this situation, I can always hit you from here with a heat engager. Obviously, that means you can use it to heat dash because it has good range. And since it doesn't force you into a stance like 3-2, you essentially can do this into this, right? And still have your regular moveset. You don't have to like memorize. Because another situation that happens a lot with like characters and stances is like, for example, Raven. When you're stuck in back turn, if you aren't immediately aware of you being in back turn, bad things happen. Because you have to be cognizant of exactly which stance you're going into and how it affects you. And of course, that's true for everyone, but it's more true for characters who, when they're in a stance, they're stuck in that stance. Because you can be like, who's the character with the stance that goes away eventually? Like Yoshimitsu has Kencho. You can accidentally press Kencho, and eventually he's just gonna stand back up, right, on his own. You can play June and then do like the Uzumo or like Uzamano, or I forget what it was called, like Uzumo stance. And eventually she'll just stop being in that stance. But with Raven and ALISA, if you're in your like stance, this is you until you're no longer in that stance. ALISA's lucky because if she gets hit, I shouldn't say lucky, because it changes like the way she has to play. But if she gets hit with her stance while in her stance, it just goes away. It just goes away instantly. All right, Raven, when he's in back turn, if he gets hit, he's still in back turn. Meaning, if he does a move that's negative on block that transitions him into back turn, he just gets launched. So, like, it forces you to play very differently than you normally would. This being 19 frames is arguably still unseeable. Right? It's a mid, so like it isn't like something you have to like be too careful about because you can always just stand block as normal and then crouch the important mids that you expect to come. But it being safe, and let's do display show details. It almost looks like it's forcing crouch. And the best way to see if that's true is to do quick punishment test. Right? So it doesn't force crouch because you're still able to jab out of it. Right? And you're only -4 when you do it, so you're able to crouch instantly. You're able to sidestep if you do it correctly. Alright, you can sidestep. Whatever. So yeah, it's not. It seems to be a good move. At 19 frames, it's still slow, and it doesn't have any evasion at all. And it leaves you on top of them, so they can always just jab back at you. But like, it has good reach. Like here, basically hitting is nice. We're gonna turn punishment off so I don't get punched every time. We got dual session 4-2-1. It says it shifts to destruction form. It's a heat engager. It doesn't shift on heat dash. Or you can do 4-2-1+2 to shift to destructive form. I don't get it. It automatically shifts to destructive form. Oh, I see. So on hit, it's a heat engager. I'm just gonna show what that looks like. Right, that's the animation. On block, 4-2 is 17 frames. Right. Let me turn back the. I don't like that. There we go. 4-2 is safe on block. Alright. Completely safe. 4-2-1 isn't. 4-2-1 is -12 and you're on top of the person, so everyone can punish you from this distance. You can get jabbed, you can get. Yeah, you're mainly just gonna get jabbed, I'm not gonna lie. But that means people are just gonna like do strings and get some form of advantage off of you and then progress with the gameplay, alright? The reason you have the option, even though 4-2-1 enters you into chainsaw stance immediately, is that if you do forward 1+2, you're safe. As in, they can't do anything to you. Alright? So let's say technically you do 4-2-1+2 chainsaw stance, they jab. It doesn't really matter because guess what? You were safe in the first place and you're already blocking before they can actually hit you. And let's say they keep interrupting you, right? They keep like punching your block to get rid of your chainsaws. Then finish the string. Just do 4-2-1 because they're going to get hit. And since it's a heat engager, they die. So, right, all right, they keep interrupting me. They die. Right. We got forward 2 3 3 and forward 2 3 1 plus 2. So forward 2 3. Both of these are safe. It's a mid into a high. So it's a mid into a high into a mid. The last hit is unsafe. The last hit is unsafe. So what you can do is not do the third hit and just go into chainsaw stance immediately. And if you do this move, right, and they don't punish it and they think it's, unsafe, and let's say they have little baby arms and they can't punish you from that distance with their 10 frame, you can just keep doing this. You can just do this over and over, condition them. And then eventually you're just gonna go into chainsaw stance right in front of their face. And since they have the mental frames of, oh, I'm just gonna wait for him to finish his string, I can't punish him anyway, you can immediately go into your next chainsaw move. Alright. It actually has so much pushback if you think about it. Like, look how far we've moved already. I've done it twice and we're basically at the wall. And if you do it one last time, pull a chainsaw, you're at the wall. And again, this is a small room, don't get me wrong. But there's still like a lot of space to be moved just from doing a move that's pseudo safe. We got forward 3-2, 14 frame startup. It's negative 14, which is hilarious to think about. So you don't ever want to just stop at this move because pretty much everyone, like everyone, has access to a heat engager that's like 13 or 14 frames. At least all the people that I've seen. I haven't really for like Leroy, because I was trying to just discuss whether or not where like what tools would be useful or what was his theme, because I'm still like, because the thing is, whenever I do these, I don't actually know anything about the character. I've only like seen them play. I've only seen like clips of professional players play them, and I'm just guessing their game design based off their moves, because the system idea itself is supposed to stack on top of itself over and over to a point where it's a game of like rock paper scissors, but with shapes. If that makes any sense, you can fit this here or fit this here, but that creates a gap here that someone can exploit until you fill it with another block, but that leaves a hole here, and you can never fully cover everything. And if you can cover everything, then the character is either terrible or someone is playing an overpowered character. Like if you can option select everything from someone's stance just by backing up even their grabs, then you could be like, oh, just get them to the wall. Okay, but what if you can sidestep all of their options? Then, even if you're at the wall, you just sidestep. Even like their fast option, even if they have like a homing option, if their homing option doesn't beat your sidestep, or they don't have a homing option in that stance, that's a terrible stance. Because then everything you have can be countered just by me sidewalking. Everything you have is just useless, because I can simply just sidewalk out of it, punish you for trying to play the game. So in this scenario, right, where you're negative 14, I'm pretty sure most people, again, I haven't really looked at everyone. First time I'm playing, most people are going to be able to get a heat engager. Yoshimitsu, if you just do this, right, and the person knows that this is negative 14, because like let's say they're ALISA main, and they know this is heat engagerable, they're just going to do back 2-2, and, then you're dealing with Oki. If it's a Raven main, they're just going to press 1+2, right? If it's a Jin, they're just gonna do whatever Jin move it is, right? You get my point. Kuma has a 13. There's tons of characters with 13 and 14 frame heat engagers that can be used to punish this and send you to the fucking Shadow Realm for, like, just doing this. So you're gonna want to finish this and go into destruction stance. You want to be in that stance anyway for the tons of chip damage, but you want to continue this so you don't fucking die. Problem is, it's a double high. So if they see you do this, they can duck and launch you. We're on this one. Like, it's a very drastic move. It hits from very far away, but it has such a very unique animation to it. It's also sidewalkable. And if they're already ducking, you're dead. So it would look like that. So if they have knowledge of the character enough, like, for example, with Yoshimitsu, I know enough of his moves that for the most part I understand what's going on when someone's doing something. Like, I can notate it out to you. That's how well that I know the character. Of course I don't know flea stance well. Of course I don't know meditation stance well. And I think there's only like 3 moves for back turn. Kencho I know for the most part. So I don't know the negatives for all of his stuff, right? I just know what is like launch punishable, what is like negative, right? I just know that something is negative, not the exact number for Yoshi, right? And the reason I'm learning the numbers for everybody else is so I can punish them as Yoshi. In this scenario, knowing that this move is this negative, you can still use it, obviously, but don't be surprised if you get hit with a heat engagement. Okay, it's also high, and it has a very unique like animation of the leg sticking out to the side. So if someone's stand blocking and this happens here, their immediate reaction is going to be, oh, let me put the swords away. Immediate reaction is going to be, hey, duck, if they know anything about this character. Because any ALISA player that you're fighting against, or anyone who's played her long enough, is going to recognize this move and go, oh yeah, that's the high high. I'm a duck that. Anyone who's labbed long enough and consistently enough. Because labbing once isn't enough. It's not. Because if you lab once just to see, like, oh, I've never seen this move before, what does it do? That's okay. If you're watching replays, like, how am I stuttering? What's the negative number for this move that let's just keep using? That's fine. But the problem comes in later on where you have a bunch of people who've played their characters for basically months, if not years. Hell, there's people who've been playing the same character for literally decades. And they're going to immediately, without thinking, swap between move to move to move from their whole move list. They're going to use almost everything. I found myself using 2-1 I never use 2-1. I never use 2-1. I mean that. Like 2-1 to me doesn't even feel that useful. There's obviously things you can do with it, and obviously could be a skill issue, but 2-1 for me on Yoshi is like I don't know, bro. I could just use something else, and it controls space, yeah, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't even seem that like cool to use. And you like, oh, this is pretty cool because it enters me into my stance, and that's why it's useful. Yeah, true. Just be cautious, right? Like this is a warning for both sides. People fighting ALISA and people playing ALISA. As in, somebody can launch you for this, but it's unlikely that they know that it's a hot. If they do, and they recognize it, because they're not locked there, they're not jailed, they can duck, and then they can immediately launch you for it. That's if they're good enough to like under it. Because the thing is, I'm smart enough to understand I can duck something, but I'm not good enough yet to duck and then have the proper timing to launch it. So if you're in the area where people are ducking and launching things, you should probably use this scarcely. Hell, if you're in that area, why the fuck you watching me? Now, here's the mix-up. We got forward 3, just like the last one, but instead of 2, we got 1 plus 2. So we do forward 3, standard kick, right, 14 frames. Actually, what I want to see is what happens if I hit forward 3, 2. It's a knockdown. But I can't heat engage. You don't get a combo either. Got it. So we do forward 1 plus 2. Forward 3, 1 plus 2, actually. I've seen tons of ALISAs do this move all the time. Alright. And then they'll do like... How did I do it? I have no clue how I fucking did that, but it's okay. Okay. So forward 3, 1 plus 2 does the same thing. It shifts on block, but it's negative and it's a mid. So this is the deal. If you do forward 3, 2, they duck into the second hit. You're basically training them to duck with this move. If you see that they're ducking the second hit, right? Because this is safe on block, remember? You can do 4, 3, 1 plus 2, which wall splats. And if they try to interrupt or they duck, you're plus 8, so you can go for a mix-up. You see, you counter hit, right? You don't, nothing changes, you're still plus 8, you can go for a mix-up, and you're in chainsaw stance, right? So the idea is to use forward 3, 2, and forward 3, 1 plus 2 as a mix-up. And what's the frame count for forward 3 again? 14? Yeah, alright. So forward 4, 1, 4. Called Logic Bomb. First hit is a 16 frame starter. It knocks down. So it's a mid into a mid. I'm gonna do hot sets. I just want to see what it looks like when it's hit normally. So it's 50 damage for this move. Wall splats. It's actually pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna do block all. So it's a true combo if you just hit any part of it. If you just hit this first part, then the rest is true. And since it's a 16 frame startup, that means you can use this to like frame trap if I would ever find a frame trap. And then you can, if they're at the wall and there's a wall like interaction, right? You can blow up the wall. Right? And this is pretty long ranged, so what I wonder is, yeah, you can use it to basically zone people. You can be out here doing bullshit and then hit them with a ball. It only does 25 damage, but at the same time, it's still kind of funny. So you can whiff things on purpose to just throw a bomb at them, and you're plus because of it. You're plus when you hit them with a bomb from far away. I guess that's it. Oh well, it's actually a homing move. Forward four. It leaves you +1 on hits. On block, it gives up your turn entirely, but it's safe. In fact, all of it is safe except for the last hit. So the first two hits are safe, but they give up your turn. This homing mid has very good range to it, actually. So you can be back here and stop someone from sidestepping. And then the follow-up seems to be kind of quick, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you don't really expect it. They pretty much like front load a bunch of the frames, and then there's just like a tiny bit of frames left at the end where they do the motion. Right? So you can, in theory, duck this, but like, you would have to know that they're gonna go for it. Because let's say they just do this, they can immediately go for a mid. Like they can just do whatever mid they want. Oh, they can do this into this. So if you think the follow-up is gonna happen, you can duck. In fact, let's just try it out. Because the way that I'm thinking is two scenarios. There's often a scenario where someone knows that something's negative and they give up their turn. Alright? The reason I'm getting hit here is because I'm actually quite not sure. I was holding back for the first two, so they have to hold back the whole way through. Otherwise the bomb hits them. So if they're not holding back, they get hit by that, which is hilarious. But what I was gonna say is the logic is since forward four is -9 on block. Anyone who knows that that's like negative, that it gives up their turn, or they could feel like, hey, I'm able to like press buttons before they can. After they do that, they're gonna expect that you're not going to press. So the idea is, okay, I can duck the second hit, and if they aren't doing it, I'll just stand back up immediately. And if they do, I'll just try to launch them or something like that. Obviously, you have to have fast reactions for it. Like, right? You can duck regardless. Because if they finish it, And the thing is, it has to be a fast enough option to stop them in the first place. Because if you pick too slow of an option, you get hit with the bomb. And there's no mix-up. This is just purely like a string that you can duck. And then the launch trades for some reason. This 17 frame trades. So anyone with a faster launcher is going to beat this. Right? And that's important to know. If you know for a fact that someone has a launcher that is faster than 17 frames, they're most likely going to beat that like move if they duck. Because the part that's catching is the last four of the string. The third hit of the string is catching people who are ducking and like sending them flying. You can just do forward into chainsaw. That's another thing that I didn't get to mention. Alright. Of course, since it's safe, you can always just chainsaw and hold back. But since this has so much range, there's a good chance that if they aren't like fully prepared for you to pull out chainsaws in that moment to jab you, they might one not jab at all because like, oh well, my moment's gone, and two, they could try to jab and we will punish them because like obviously ALISA has so much range. Like I'm over here. Like it almost like sucks to live. Like here, obviously it's gonna reach, but I think this is the range. Stop stepping back, bro. Obviously you can't be full screen, but you can be like about here. No, I'm wrong. Actually, you can be two away. You can be at two, or that one barely touched. But you get the point. You can be far away, and if they step inwards towards you, it'll connect because they'll break the gap. We have overflow, which is forward 1+2. This mega slow on block 14 frames. On hit, it knocks down and you're plus 14. So it says you can do forward 1+2, 3, which shifts into boot. And remember, there's things you can do in boot. So like if we pull out chainsaws, hold on. Actually, can we do that from boot? I'm not sure. All right, because we never looked at the boot thing. In fact, that's what we're gonna do now. So we know overflow is forward 1+2. This move is a 14 frame knockdown mid. Right, leaves you plus 14. Remember that. Has good range too. Now all we have to do is go to Lula's, go down to boot. Where's boot at? Is it reboot or no? I guess we'll just have to do the dual boot. I'm not sure what boot is. All right, here's boot. So let's reset. Boot is forward 3+4. Cool. So we do forward 1+2 and hold down. Wait, hold on. Okay. So for boot, when you do forward 3+4 and you hold down, this cancels it. It says shifts to backup. Oh, okay. So depending on which one you do, so you can bait rage arts. You can like run up and then just back up before they can. Because that's something I really like to do is bait people's rage arts. If I can. Problem is, I know at like this range, if you do this, they're definitely going to like cook you. Maybe from like right here where it gets convincing. It gotta be the right range. So when you do it, they think, okay, now I can activate. Because if you're too close, then they're gonna hold on. Let me see if I can. Nah, I'm never gonna do it. All right. So 4 1+2 3. I think it said. Oh, was that on block? Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't on block. You can just do it in the oven. So 4 1+2 3 brings you into boot. So let's try forward 1+2. No, forward 1+2 3 into back. Yeah. So on offense. All right. So I can do. So you can hit someone with this, and then proceed to back up. I guess this might be a situation where you think like they're gonna immediately get up rage art, and you're already blocking because you held back. We have boot 1 2 1 1+2. So let's do that. There we go. I don't know why I was having such issues with that. So this is like what? All mids and highs? So that's triple mids. Into another it's quadruple mids. And then you can transfer into chainsaw stance from it. Nice. Okay. So that would look like. Yeah, it will look like that. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can transfer into chainsaw stance. I mean, it sounds like I'm not into the move, or I'm not, because I think this is just one of those like moves that are generically good. Like, what can I say? Like, it just 14 frame startup. You're technically airborne when you do it, but this like completely low crushes. So, it's just one of those moves where it's just like, there's nothing really to be said about it. It's pretty apparent why it's good. And it has a stance transition, so like, yeah, it's just pretty good. And that's how it works. All right. We got boot 2, another chainsaw transition. Looks like this. 16 frame mid. Doesn't seem to wall splat for some reason. That's a chainsaw transition, like I said. So from forward 1+2, 3, it would look like this. And I think this is going to be like one of the reasons why I don't like ALISA, I guess. Because I don't know, it feels kind of cumbersome swapping from stance to stance like this into different move sets where and the thing is it's obviously doable, but I know like I'm gonna have such growing pains where I drop so many combos where like, oh, I wanted to go into, chainsaw stance, or I wanted at the very least to finish the string and I messed it up. And it just, you have to try for a while to get very used to it. It's not an indictment of the character, it's much more of like a criticism of myself that this being her setup is gonna be annoying for me. Doable but annoying. So we got forward 3+4, 3, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very big fan of like mobile slides, but I fucking hate how mobile ALISA is when I'm fighting her. And it gives you +7 too. So that means +7 while you're +7 on a low move, right? Well, I guess you have to be full screen for it to be +7. +10 if you get it from all the way back here. Interesting. Right? So it varies depending on where you are. Because it is basically a full screen. Right? So I'm +7 here, right? And it enters you in a crouch automatically because you're sliding. So when you're getting up, you're automatically doing a while rising move, or like you're automatically and while rising. So you can use some of your other like good tools. And frame trap. It's just that the numbers vary depending on like the distance. So you'll have to get used to like guesstimating or knowing the distance you're at to be able to use this properly. On counter hits, it's a knockdown. And you get the combo. So, all in all, cool. This is obviously going to be a moment where it's like, what is he going to do out of this? So, forward 1+2, 3. Like, essentially, you're choosing. What's that? You're choosing, like, which option you're going for. And if they duck, they get hit with the slide, which is definitely annoying, but it doesn't knock you down. If they duck, then they get hit with forward 3-4, 1-2-1, 3+4, which does launch, as you see. Right? Even wall splats. And if they don't, then they get hit with this. So essentially what can happen is let me trying to think of a. Oh yeah, we actually have a move for that, so we can do. Hold on. into like full combo, right? You can do that. You can do whatever combo you want. Key charge, do boot boot 3. I'm gonna just call it B. Because if I want to say back, I want like yeah, you know what I mean. So you can do B3 this key charge B3 basically full screen. And if they wrong, then they just die. Because hold on, if we test this and we go block all boot, they can block after the second hit of boot 1-2, right? They can do that. But what happens if they're crouched? Does anything change? And it's like, okay, so I'm just gonna crouch then. But you're forgetting that we still have boot 2, which sends you flying. And if I key charge again from all the way back here and go, no, I could just choose boot 2 again. You know what I mean? So the setup so far with just the tools we know alone, like they said they do something negative 14, we do forward 1+2, we go into the boot stance. You can choose to do very dangerous things. The problem I have is that I didn't actually check and see what was negative or not because I'm doing bad right now. Right? When you do 1, 2, 1, 3+4, the third and fourth hit are launch punishable. So this changes everything. This changes everything unironically because that means you can eat the first 2 hits of this, and if they don't stop, they die. For example, this is dual boot. I just want regular boot. This one. Alright. Gonna reset. It's so negative, you can walk forward and then hit a button. Right. You can punish with the 19 frame rate. And if you're at the wall and you can't go back any farther, that just kills them. So they can only settle for 2 hits. Right? You can't interrupt. You can't sidestep. There's no ducking. But if they keep doing it, then they're launch punishable. Now, since they reset to a distance where most people can't punish them, right, it doesn't really matter. At the wall, everyone launches them. They're negative 18, I think, if I was reading that correctly. Yeah, they're negative 18 if they finish the whole thing. If they stop one move before, then they're negative 20. Meaning, I think you can rage art them then. To prove, let's just record. Alright. I didn't record. There we go. Reset. So, yeah, 20. So to prove that, because that's actually not going to work as proof, we're going to do record. I actually need to put them on stand block. There you go. Block all. This should be, yeah. So you actually can rage art. They're so negative if they don't finish the string that if they stop during the third hit, you can rage art them. If they go the whole way through, you can launch punish them. So if I go to this, re-record, and do the whole thing. Right. That's the full string, and then we're gonna see if I can. You can't interrupt or rage art it. So the thing is, if you try to disrespect that string, then you just die for it. Like you just get wall splatted. You just all your problems in the world happen to you. So I'm trying to. There we go. Give me to the wall. Wall spotted, right? They get their combo. If you disrespect it, if you try to sidestep, if you duck, you're just going to get hit. But if they go the whole way through, like if they do more than 2 hits, they die. So that really isn't an option. So that means it's really a mix-up between, let's just do standing and punishment off. It's really a mix-up between boot 2, which is just a mid, right, and boot 3. And the thing is, even though that boot 2 doesn't have any like critical hit change, just besides the damage, counter hit change, just besides the damage, that doesn't stop like boot 3 from being scary. Right? So if you key charge from a distance after like letting a combo end, and then you do this, it's just as scary. Because let's say they're like at the wall. Let's pretend like I didn't fuck up that combo. That's just as scary. Because you're going to get like a 70%, like you're just going to get 70 damage combo. So that's 100 damage. And all you have to do is just let them hit the wall. And Alyssa has great carry and chip damage anyway. So you can basically do whatever you want. That's a lie. You can't do whatever you want. You can do a lot of things, but not whatever you want. Like if all it takes is like one launch, and then they're at the wall, and then you just bully them, whatever, do your thing. Another press key charge, and then you just do this. They're gonna be afraid to press. or they're gonna try to power crush. And if they're too late and you choose low, they die. And then be like, oh, he's key charging again. He's gonna go for the low. You could go for it again. So let's have him block again and just like risk it all on it. But you're not risking it all because it's only like it's only 14. It's only negative 14. So you get hurt for it. Don't get me wrong. Like there's gonna be people like Raven can launch you at that. I think Kazuya can launch you at that too. Like some people can most definitely hurt you at that amount. But there's a lot of people who can't, right? At least I think there's a lot of people who can't launch you for that. I haven't played everyone, but from my experience, right, Yoshimitsu can't launch you at 13 frames. He doesn't even have a 13 frame while rising. So you're perfectly fine to just because only thing he's going to get is I think a Rising 1 or a Rising 4, right? And Rising 1 will lead to him forcing you into crouch into like whatever frame trap or bullshit he wants to do there. But the point is you're not gonna die for it. So you can indeed just go low again. But there's just food too. You can do that. And that's really the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of characters who have wide range attacks. Like for example, in Tekken 7, there's Kunimitsu with her long range sweep that on counter hit she got a full combo for. Alright? And you can do the same thing here with ALISA. You can get a full counter hit combo. If I don't drop it like a dickhead. Right, automatically tornadoes. Pretend I didn't drop that, but you get the point. Key charge, like let the combo in early, key charge, either boot, like either B3 or B2. It's a good mix up. At least I think. The only way to truly test that is to really look at the data. So we have boot 3, 16 frames. Incredibly fast. Right? And then you have boot 2, 16 frames. So yeah, it is a mix up. Oh, it's 21 frames. 16 frames here. So the frame data seems to change. It's 26 here. I guess because of the distance. 16 here. So if you do a point blank boot 2, it's 16. Point blank. I wonder what the animation looks like from this distance. I guess you can react to it. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good move. I like this. I like setups like this, like with Asuka, where you let the combo in early and then you do up 3+4 because the first hit is a low and it's a counter hit launcher. So the key charge setup is nice. In fact, I think that's even hilarious. I was gonna say the only thing that stopped the Asuka thing from being overpowered is that the second hit is a high. So if you had to stop the key charge setup, all you have to do is block do a standing guard. But if the second hit was a mid, that means you would you would have to you would have to duck to block the low and then stand back up in the perfect timing, but it jails you. Like, nah. I don't know. I don't know, bro. That's. I'm glad it's a high. It's the only thing that makes it fair. We have boot 4, 17 frames. It looks like a launcher. It is. So the mix-up isn't between boot 2 and boot 3 or B3 and B2. It's a mix-up between B3 and B4. Does she bounce? Yeah, she bounces off the ground like a Mortal Kombat character, which is interesting. And this isn't a tornado either. Like, it actually does travel a very good distance. It's always 17 to 19 frames. So it's pretty much just as fast as boot 2 and boot 1. So with boot 3, yes, I've given up on the B thing. It would have been smarter, but I don't know. My brand's already set on B. Me on boot. Fuck. We'll look into that later, because that's crazy. With boot here, right? Boot 4, it's probably going to be this mix up. That's going to have people scared. And the question is, how do you beat both of these? So let's say I'm going to do defense, set a recording. You can sidestep it. Sidestepped. So you can sidestep the options. Question is, can you sidestep B2? So you can sidestep it. So you can answer all those with sidesteps, which doesn't decrease my appreciation for the move, because you have to be ready already to sidestep the stance. Right? If you do, you can potentially get a chance to punish if she doesn't fly fucking past you. Don't know what the fuck that's about, but no, that's a game decision. But you can sidestep these choices and not deal with the mix up of like high or low. Um, what we need now is like a homing option to counter homing threats, something that tracks a bit. So let's see. We have B1 plus 2, which apparently is an unblockable. Just to prove. Blocking. Yeah, unblockable. It's an unblockable. Is this a mid? That's me block. Yeah, it's a high. It's a high. So this, if we have to group them, it's B1 plus 2 with B. Yeah, it's B1 plus 2 is a mix, is the same thing as like B3 because they have to duck to deal with it, right? This move is slow enough that it can be like dealt with. So let me see. I'm gonna see if I can react to this. But B1 plus 2 is in the same bag as B3 because they deal with it, you have to crouch. And then B2 and B4 are in the same like bag together because you have to stand block. So let me. Okay. Gotta make sure I'm ready. So it leaves you +8 on block. Let's record again. Oh no, I messed that up. Yeah. So when you hit it, it leaves you +8, so you can continue to attack. But the damage it does is only 22. It's a pretty fast one as well. So let me see if I can react to this. So you can power crush to a lot of this. Except if they do the low. I wish I'd do it late. So you can power crush if you expect her to do the stance, which I guess why you don't see it a lot in pro play. But I was wondering, like, if you have access to a quick unblockable, why not use it, right? And here's the deal. Here's the deal. The reason I was making those groups before of like, oh, B1 plus 2 is uh with B3 is because if you deal with the move by doing the same thing as B3, right? That means when you're doing mix-up, you have to swap from group to group. You don't choose the same group if you're doing a mix-up. That's if you're trying to like swap which like move you're in. Like if you expect them to adapt, you swap which group you're doing. You make them duck. You think they're gonna duck, right? Then you're gonna choose the mid group. The high is going to be solved when they duck to try to block the B3. So you're gonna just simply want to use one of the mids. During destruction form, blah blah blah. Okay, so this all started because I did forward 1+2. So yeah, that's boot. All right. Now dual boot is something different. Now we got to go back to the move because I forget the notation for how to access dual boot. So we got to look for forward 1+2. To access dual boot, you do forward 1+2 forward. So it's this boot and dual boot are the same thing. I don't understand. The notations to access them are exactly the same. I don't quite understand. I just don't get it. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. I guess we'll just come back to it later when I understand it better. Because I'm not quite sure what's going on. Alright. Alright, we got Cyclone Mixer. Down forward 1-1-2. This move here, I've seen a lot. Like, this happens to me a lot. So it's just a bunch of highs. So the first one's a mid, right? It's a mid into a high. And then it's followed up by another high. A bunch of highs. So you can duck this and launch, but it seems to be a safe way to get into chainsaw stance. Alright, pushes them back. You're +6 chainsaw stance from a good distance. You can do what you want. You got a 13 frame and down forward 1. Down forward 1 is normally like, it's normally a 13 frame. Yeah, I guess. I guess if you wanted to practice ducking. Forgot to turn off the rest. That's my bad. The key thing is to look for like the waist turn. Because you can duck at any point. You're not jailed. So you can just wait for the second hit to like connect. Even when you get hit by the first one and you fuck up, you can. You just gotta make sure you don't stand up too fast. Although I just makes him safe. It's such a hard punch to do. I just sidestepped out of it. You gotta wait till her chainsaw starts to move back. Yeah. Like, wait till she extends her arm, and then... Like, you gotta do it so precisely. Yeah, that's annoying as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Trying to time that is so annoying. We got down 1-4, which is just standard. This is the same thing Yoshi has. 13 frame into, a kick. Kick that's normally 12 frames, right? Has good reach. Same thing Yoshi has, right? Pretty standard. This is good to like control mid-range since you're safe doing down forward 1, you can use it to check movement, and then you can follow up occasionally with down forward 1-4. You can follow up the forward part just to see if it hits, and you're punishable technically, right? For Yoshi, I think it's safe, but really, it's just like you want to see, and if they don't realize what's going on, they may not like jab in time to punish you. You got down forward 2, 16 frame launcher. So the thing is, I heard that some people. My first experience with someone not having a standing 15 frame launcher was Raven. I looked at his moves, realized he didn't have a standing 15 frame launcher, and then they gave him one, right? But for the longest part, he could only launch -16, and the thing about that is, it seems like not that big of a deal, but Rage Art is -15. I can't launch Rage Arts. The two main strategies her rage arts is wait till it connects so you don't get clipped, and then do down forward 2 to launch. Alright? That doesn't work here. And it didn't work for Raven either. Now, Raven having a 14 frame launcher from while crouched is nice and all. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I kind of do miss having like a safe launcher from standing. And I get that there's tools elsewhere that's supposed to make up for the fact that like this is 16 frame launcher. Let me turn that off. That's annoying. But I don't know. I just personally don't like it. Like for example, Raven has forward 4 now, which auto tornadoes, so it's effectively like low parrying. That's the amount of like combo you'd be able to do, right? But at the same time, it's just like I don't know, like not having a 15 frame launcher that like is an organic one where you get a full combo kind of sucks. And I don't know enough about this character to go, oh yeah, it's perfectly fine. There's tons of people who play the game. There's tons of people who play this character. They all have achievements. They're pretty strong players. Blah blah blah. They've probably do very well. I just don't seem to very much enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Uh, it's just like it's 16 frames, right? So if something is 16 frames or more, you can launch it. But that essentially means anything that's like normally launch punishable isn't launch punishable for this character. So that means like interactions are based on mix-ups a lot more, which I just don't really enjoy. I want to be able to like go, oh, you did something stupid, launch. I just get to get my combo and then I go home. And I enjoy playing like against like I enjoy doing mix-ups. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy like watching my opponent see what they do. But going, oh, I know that's launch punishable, but I can't launch it because my character just doesn't have the tools for that. Not that I don't know them or I'm not capable. Feels off. You have down forward 3-3. A 16 frame mid safe on block. This is how you're going to use this, right? You're going to do this, right? This, right? Or a launcher. You do this and then a launcher, right? You're going to use this as a harassment tool because this is very visible and eventually people are going to like start reacting to it because the second hit is 23, right? I want to add that to the list. We're going to record. Am I doing this wrong? Yeah, I was. Right, and then, well, we record over this one. I have a bad habit of not recording. It's such a like reactable animation once you know what you're looking for that you can low parry it pretty much every time. And it's kind of a good thing almost. Like it's hard to describe. It's more like it's something that my mom said to me, and it's a pretty generic thing to say, but she was like, "When life gives you lemons, basically." I guess it's one of those outlooks because it's very reactable, right? Meaning someone who's very good at the game can consistently react to that, which is bad because it's like, fuck, this kick is almost useless at the higher level. But you can essentially fake people out with it. And unless you're going to be playing against professional players or like God of Destructions, then you won't really have that issue of them always low parrying this. Because let's see how late I can actually get my punish in there. You get the point. It's very punishable. The goal with me, if I were to use this, wouldn't be to finish the strength, even though it leaves me +1. It would be to do this, right? And if they should be expecting you to do the follow-up. They should crouch. That's the point. They should crouch. You don't want to do this if you're not going to do the like if you do this and they aren't crouching, just finish through. You should be finishing through until you force them to crouch. And then you're gonna want to do block to see how negative it is. It's only -12, so you're not really losing anything. If you do it, they have to low parry it to punish you. So you do this, blah blah blah. You force them to crouch. And then once they learn to crouch, you're essentially not gonna finish the strength. Right? Not that move. It doesn't launch crouch, bro. Is there a hop knee? So you do this. You're good. You can go away.
For what time?
Cancel.
Okay, I won't.
Thank you. I'm trying to figure out how you do it. You would do that, but you want to launch them. Whatever the launcher is, you would do that. And I'm not happy that she doesn't have a launcher that launches crouchers. Oh, if it's a counter hit, then it launches. But like, you get my point though. You would want to condition them to crouch so you could do something. You can do something to them. That's how I would use it, but I'm not sure which tool she has to even do that in the first place. Maybe like... And then you can just harass. You know what I mean? Oh, how fast is this? 16? Not too bad. We have down to, which is a 24 frame mid with a weird ass animation. Let's get rid of this because it's causing problems. So it's a double mid with a chainsaw transition and it's safe. So this is another way to get your chainsaws out. The move has kind of limited range, actually, not gonna lie. It's very weird. It doesn't low crush. I think it made high crush. Like, it's 24 frames. I don't know. It looks like it does. I guess I just use this probably like in the neutral to get out my chainsaws. I'm not sure what else this could be used for. Maybe you hit a heat engager and you want to see if they're ducking because it's safe on block. Does it do a lot of damage? No, it's... Well, I guess if you add those parts together, there's 41. Which is decent, and then It wall splats too. Well, is that the right word for it? Wall splatting? I don't think it's considered wall splatting because he was just against the wall, so you get a wall combo. So it would look like. I don't get it. Is it not tornado? I'm trying to figure out a combo really quickly. That might have tornado then. Okay. So I think what I need to do is something like down 2-4, forward 1+2, tornado. Yeah, something like that. Most likely go for heat and then something else, but you know. We got down 3. It says shifts to back up, but what does that even mean? Well, it's time to go find out. Secondly, oh yeah. I forgot to even look at that. So down, forward 3, right? Down forward 3-3. Didn't check and see if there was any counter hit probably. That's my bad. It's a knockdown on counter hit. Yeah, okay. It leaves you +1 when you hit the low, so you can always out jab your opponent. And oh, that's actually a good point. Let's do that really quickly. Punish. We'll do 10 from jab. So if he tries to interrupt, he gets knocked down, right? But if he gets hit with the low and then tries to fight back, you can hit him with the 1-2-2. Right? So I have to hit it correctly, so I'm not. For some reason, it isn't going all the way through. It is a counter hit, though. I don't understand why. Oh, I guess I was wrong. But yeah, on counter hit, knocks down your +14. You can do a boot move, right? Probably like B1 or B2. So that's too slow, but you get the picture. And the reason I remember that is because for quick slider, 23 frame move, completely low crushes, right? And it says it shifts into a stance, right? You're +8 here. So this move gives you +8 for any mix-ups, shifts you into a stance for that stance's mix-ups. Also enters you into no. So it doesn't enter you with the crouch. It enters for a split second. It does. So you have to wait till. See when her knees are pointed up towards the ground, like there, it makes like a right angle, kind of. That's when you're in while rising. That's when you're crouched. You have to wait to that point to be able to do it. So you can gain access to wild rising. You can gain access to crouch stance, right? So while rising, crouching stance, and backup stance, whatever that's about. So let's go to move list. Backup. Here we go. Down back one. It just looks like her crouching stance called backup. I guess it's a move designed to immediately enter crouch. But if you do down back one, it allows you to immediately execute the move. Okay, I get it. Okay. So we got backup one. It's an 11 frame move. It's a high. And it's safe on block. So obviously the concern that I'm gonna have is it being a high means it can be ducked. The question is, what other options are there to make me not want to duck? Because obviously this is duckable at the high. It's 11 frames too, which isn't insanely fast. This move alone, down three, facilitates a frame trap. This is going to be the move that frame traps. In fact, what I'm thinking is that it's forcing crouch for the opponent too. So we turn punishment on. Yeah, it does a raw rising 4. You can see it does that like get up kick. So it's forcing crouch for them. It's giving us access to raw rising moves, giving us access to backup moves, and I'm guessing on counter hit. Yeah. So this move is like a very good button. So we gain access to yeah. So we gain access to a counter hit launcher that if you do the combo right, allows you to continue. So counter hit launcher that enters you into stance, that's +8 on normal hits, and gives you access to our rising moves. So I think down three is the best move she has so far. Don't take me like fucking up the combos as a sign of it being bad. I just don't know the combo yet. Right. Let me. I don't know why I did that move. That was weird. Huh, weird. But you get the point. This is one of like the best moves she has. If it's blocked, you die, but alright. We got backup 2 is also an 11 frame launcher. So backup 1 knocks her down, or like knocks the enemy down. It's a high. Backup 2 is also a high. So if I do backup 2 automatically tornadoes though. So if we can do launch. Huh, it doesn't seem to reach. I don't know. I guess I was wrong. So let's think about this. Back up to 11 frame high and back up one, another 11 frame high. That leaves you +4 on block. So your goal with this one is that like if they're stand blocking because they're afraid of a mid, you're using this as a safe way to test out the scene because it just resets you to the neutral. It just resets you to like try again. And then back up 2 is completely unsafe, right? Oh wait, no, back up 2 is safe, but it gives up your turn. So why the fuck does she have access to these tools? Maybe let's say we do punish, so she tries to interrupt, right? So she gets launched if she tries to interrupt with that one. So that was backup 2, and this is backup 1, which also sends her fucking flying. So these are both 2 high moves. And that does like 50 damage. I don't get it. I don't get why you have 2 of the same move, basically. Let's try, I don't know, sidewalk right. Sidewalk left. They're the same frame count. They hit the same spot. I just don't get it. This is gonna drive me crazy. 23 frame. Hold on. I don't get it. I don't actually get it. And it seems like I'm walking in circles. I just don't get it. One's a tornado for combos, yes, but it's the same exact frame amount. They're both launchers. So that one allows you to get a combo. They do almost the same damage. I guess this one doesn't allow for the same like combo potential. Maybe it's a different combo route. I'm not sure. I'm moving on before it drives me crazy. So back up 3, 24 frames. It's safe on block. Why the fuck is everything she has safe on block? What is this stance? It's slow, yes. This one's a mid. So let's say crouching block is the state we're gonna have you in. If you block this, I'm -19, I die, blah blah blah. Actually, I'm only minus 10 when... But if I stand up fully, I'm launch punishable. That's kind of hilarious. Okay, I'm trying to think. We'll do standing block into crouch block. That's the proper way to do this. So, clearly rage audible. Alright. Right? Yeah. Can't really do much with this. Because it's sort of tumbling away. In fact, that's kind of hilarious. Actually... Yeah. They're sort of tumbling, but it's really just... I don't know. Maybe it's time to set up something like... Yeah. So this, if you hit them with this, it gives you enough time to do a P-charge into B3 into another combo, right? And since you do whatever combo you do, you can immediately do another one of these, and then loop. Also has like wall spotting implications. So yeah, it does send them flying far. There's probably wall breaks as well. This might be one of the best stances in the fucking game. We got down 3-4. So back up 4. Another mid that launches. Go do right. I don't know. It's what is it on block? What are both of these options on block? I don't think I checked the last one. It's safe, and this one, it's also safe. It's also safe. I don't understand. If I'm +8, if I'm +8, right, and then out of my stance, I get a safe. Hold on. Actually, I'm saying this is safe, but is it really? I think I might have set this up wrong. Yeah, I did. We're gonna wait for the 2 hits. But I'm in the air for a while. Maybe... Gonna turn that on, right? This one is safe, but that's not what I wanted. I don't know. They're just all safe. There's no risky options here. And I don't understand why this is different than any of the other stuff she has. So down 3, 4 is a safe launcher that tornadoes. Let's try maybe on counter hit. No, we've already done counter hit. That doesn't really do anything. So I don't understand why her move list is, well, at least this stance specifically is so redundant. There has to be an answer. Alright, we got backup 1+2. Unblockable that I've never seen a day in my life. I don't quite understand. So it's a 30 frame unblockable, right? Access from one of the best stances in the game, and I've never seen it used. It's slow, don't get me wrong, but like everything, if you hit this move, it's 23 frames, so someone, somewhere, a demon, will react to this. It's still 23 frames all the way out here. So from about here, it's gonna hit, right? And it still knocks down, so really you could. Hold on, I wanna. No, that's not the right one, is it? Oh, if I didn't have these fucking chainsaws. Although I didn't, I mean. Come on. So close. Fuck it. Damn it, bro. The point is, this move is only 23 frames. This one being quote unquote 16 ignores the startup of this. These probably are very similar in speed. While this is a mix-up, when you do this specifically, they know like what you're doing. So you can use this in the same way I showed before, as in like you do a combo, key charge, immediately into it, you get a combo, right? However it's supposed to work. And then you can key charge and then do something totally different. I think this is truly one of the most crazy characters I've seen in a long time. And I know playing against this character is annoying because every time I play against this character, I have not only no clue what's going on, I feel like even if the thing is like in my brain, I'm like there has to be a way to deal with this. Obviously, not all these moves are goated, but like Jesus, why is her backup stance so safe? None of this is punishable. The fuck do I even have to learn the matchup for if none of this is punishable? At least give me like a -10, something, please. And was it a 10 frame move I just read? What? One of these said 10 frames. Okay, I might be tripping. And then you have this like fast unblockable, right? And I don't want to hear anybody say shit about Yoshimitsu's unblockable. To be fair, his unblockable low is pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie. But if they be like, oh, Yoshimitsu has access to some of like the most bullshit unblockables, like how am I supposed to deal with that? First of all, with bad breath, duck it, pretty easy, right? That's very easy to deal with. If you bitch about bad breath, that's just on you. This mix up here, or right, this here comes with a lot more to worry about than an unblockable. This comes with a lot more to deal with than an unblockable. And I guess the only thing comparable with Yoshimitsu would be Kencho back 1+2. And that fully retreats back. This is not only in your face, it's on top of you. So I wonder if we do punt, no backdash. Because with the Yoshimitsu one, let's say he's about here, he does it. It brings him all the way back here and then forward again. So you can see him doing the thing, and if you recognize it, you can back up before it can even touch you. While this is not only in your face, it moves forward with you. Like you have to sidestep this. You can out backdash Yoshimitsu's unblockables. This is aggressive in your face, easy access to unblockables. And if they've been scared this whole time, the unblockable immediately destroys them. It doesn't even do that much damage though, that's the thing. I wonder if it's like meant to be a combo tool. It has to be, right? Maybe it's like end of the game, you want to get this over with. Oh, of course. Huh, you can't even combo out of it. So it's like useless. Never mind, you can pick it up. Unblockable in the Radar is gonna be my new man. It's gonna be my new move. I'm just gonna hit you with a before you can even activate yours. In fact, can you Radar out of this? I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can Radar interrupt most of the options here, probably. Let's try. We got what? Let's try with everything. Everything we've learned so far. We got boot 1. Hold on. Boot 1, 2. If I can do it right. Nope. Interrupts. Boot 2. I guess I should do it in like I just hit 1 plus 2. So forward 1 plus 2, 3. What? That forces crouch? It does. Huh. Interesting. I guess that's not gonna work. Let's go back to standing block. Might as well. How would I even? I guess we'll just do the other one because I'm not sure how we would even test. So we're gonna do backup instead. Figure that one out first. So let's go from the beginning. We got backup 1. Make sure the radar's working. So down 3, 1. Nope. Stops radar. Back 3, 2. Stops radar. Back 3, 3. Forces crouch. Oh, it can't rage art, or it's not rage arting as a punish for crouching. Hold on. That's what's going on. That's why it's not. So we're gonna do is here, forward. Yep. That was going on. So we can do my idea. So we're gonna do the backup first since we're already here. So backup 1. Nope. The second test to see if it's working. Yep. Backup 2. Nope. Backup 4. It actually stops backup 4. And back. So here's the deal. If you have Rage Art, you can ignore almost everything. Because back up 3 is too slow to stop Rage Art. Back up 4 is too slow to stop Rage Art. But back up 1 stops it at 11 frames. And back up 2 stops it at 11 frames. What that means is that you can quote unquote wait 11 frames and then activate Rage Art. It doesn't really mean that, but like essentially, if they don't do the move, you could probably Rage Art of it. So if I go to punish, I mean to defense, I'm gonna try to set this up. I wonder how well that would work out. So select from move list. We'll go down to backup. In fact, we'll just have to record. That'd be hella faster than trying to piece it together for moves. I didn't record it for some reason. Now, the problem is timing this correctly to make sure you do it. Like, if it's anything slower than 11 frames, because you want to duck and punish. Actually, in fact, now that I think about it, there's no lows in this stance. So it's really a question of, can you duck? And I know that sounds redundant, like, oh, lows make you duck in the first place. But you're not ducking because you want to defend yourself. You're ducking because you want to kill the opponent. If they don't do one or two, you immediately, like, Rage Art beats. And it's going to be the same for the unblockable as well, because that's too slow. In fact, let's try something. Defense. Wait, maybe you can fuzzy it. I mean, there's no actual need to fuzzy. How was that? Hold on. I need to see something. If you get hit by the fucking low, the high is... You can't duck if you get hit by the low. You can block, but you can't duck. Wait, for some... What? So that hits, but... I don't understand why this is hitting me. I don't understand. If you get hit with the first part, but then you hold down back, I don't know. This is beyond me. I no longer care. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's like I was holding down back and then it was letting me duck under when I got hit by the first one, but it wouldn't let me do that if I was holding straight down. Which means I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm not even gonna pretend to. I'm not even going to pretend to. Time to go back to the move list. Like, bro, I don't. I'm kind of tired. We got down 3, 1 plus 2, which is a 17 frame low. You lose. You're -1 on hits, on counter hits. You're +8. Right. Semi decent range. Alright. So if you counter hit this, you were +8 and you can do a mix up. So you can, let's see. If I do practice, punishment, I'm gonna turn off all this bullshit. Okay, had to make sure that was on. So if I do this, right, it jabs back. So that means I can do this. Nope, I can't. I was thinking I could do down 3 if I'm +8, but no, I'm just not fast enough. Um, maybe I could do something like this with the extra frames, since I'm +8, meaning guaranteed my power crush is gonna come out before they interrupt it. But at the same time, if I just start the power crush at the same time as if they start their punch, it's also gonna go through. So that didn't matter as well. The full string looks like this. So it's 0 on block and it resets the distance in the neutral. So you can power crush if I do this correctly. But since I have him set the jab, it's not going to do anything. If he does anything bigger, then he gets hit. Just a cool move. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. We got Destruction Form, which is just down 1 plus 2. Harpoon Sweep, which is down 3 plus 4, which is this. It's 27 frames. So if I recharge and does nothing else, you can do the sweep and then pull out chainsaws to like do chainsaw bullshit. You know what I mean? But the thing about this is it's a homing move, meaning you can't sidestep this, right? And since it floats you in the air, right, you're airborne. That means you're evading blows. So if we have, I'm trying to think of a slow enough move to let me show this off. We probably have to do display, I mean defense. If we just have my character do down 3, right? See? Oh, my bad, that's the wrong one. Oh, this is actually a terrible example, because the down 3 actually low crushes my low and beats it, which is hilarious. I guess we'll do like down 4-3-3. Well, that was also a bad example. Um, because it locks us there. What about? Oh yeah, that's the one. Okay, recording in. Down 4. The key charge is just to simply let me know when it's gonna happen. Uh, so apparently it actually doesn't low crash, which is hilarious. So it just isn't high enough off the ground to go over the lows. This move is the low pressure. This move is just the hell switch. It has good range and it's homing, meaning you can't sidestep this. So you can really just like, hold on. How would I even? I'm really just mashing at this point. I don't give a fuck anymore. The point is, this doesn't help. This is a hell sweep, and it doesn't low crash, and it's homing. Good day. Uh, this is definitely the part where I'm getting a little burnt out on labbing. How long have I been doing this for? 3 hours. I've been doing this for 3 hours, bro. Whatever. Let's. In fact, I'm gonna end this and then start it back up, so I don't have to do like 3 hour editing like doing with the segments.